Good morning. My name is Joe Bandel, and I am the last Rosicrucian. Today, we're going to talk about the dangers of a moral world. Now, this is a difficult post to write, but it is a very important one. There is a very real danger in today's modern world for the individualist. Not only is there a public denial of the soul and non-physical realities, but a denial of any religion and divine essence at all. Spirituality is just not spoken of, it's not believed, it's not recognized. There's a large enough difference between the spiritual person who tries to follow the still small voice of conscience in their heart, like I do, and the congregation of pious churchgoers that believe devoutly in the truth revealed in the scriptures and an external authority that they call God. There's enough difference just in those views. But one is a mystic and the other's followers. One believes in carrying their own cross, while the others believe in clinging to a cross that is not their own. Now, if you want to get down to it, Christ even said, pick up your own cross and follow after me. Do like I do, you know. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just talking about there's two views on spirituality, but they are both treated the same by the rational atheists of today's modern world. Human morality is no longer determined by one's conscience or even by Scripture. Human morality is now determined by humans, and that is a very dangerous state of affairs. The power to determine morality has been taken away from the conscience and taken away from religions and from spirituality. The power to determine morality has now been placed in the hands of politicians and social activists. Just think about that. We are already seeing the beginnings of politically correct morality, and it seems pretty ugly. Morality, by its own definition, seeks to define the highest in humanity. So how can it be determined by the lowest common denominator? You ever think about that? How can lowest common denominator morality determine what's highest in humanity? To make matters worse, politically correct morality has the power of becoming our new all-encompassing social religion. When morality conquers spirit, there is a change of masters. How can the lowest common denominator speak for the highest within the individual? The answer is that it can't. We're going in the wrong direction. I was taught that the most powerful way of influencing others was to set a good example for them by my own actions and words. I think the worst way of influencing others is by passing lowest common denominator moral laws and forcing people to follow them against their will. That's the talking point, I guess, that I have there. Lowest common denominator morality. And it's determined by politicians and social activists. How do you like that? Do you recognize the truth in what I'm saying? Does this resonate? Because this is where we're headed. There is no longer a recognition of the individual and individual rights. There's no longer a recognition of following the conscience, the still small voice of conscience. no recognition of the divinity, the Christ spirit within each human heart. It's been taken away. Its existence, its very existence is denied. Instead of a higher principle, even the highest, don't get me wrong, the highest I still believe is internal authority. But at least religions were, even though they had this external authority there, they were aiming from a higher point of view than the lowest common denominator. And nobody talks about it. Now the question comes up, and I don't know the answer to some of these, okay? But why is nobody talking about conscience? Why is nobody talking about the divine spark in each human heart? Why are we not talking about the heart? Why are we talking about divisive things? Why are we talking about things calculated to tear people apart, to divide people? And why are we allowing the lowest common denominator people? If you're talking about morality, and then you talk about politicians in the same word, in the same breath, how can you do that? I mean, do you know? Maybe there are some moral politicians, but there's certainly not enough of them to get a majority to pass a bill that or a law on morality that would be worth anything. I mean, this is our time. We are at a tipping point in our civilization, and we're either going one way or the other. And the one way is without spirituality. In place of spirituality, we have computers, we have artificial intelligence, we have 5G. 5G, where the awareness, human awareness, is going to merge with computers so that after the death of your physical body, your awareness can exist within the computer someplace. Ultimately, how about that? I have some thoughts on that, but for one thing, I believe that ultimately it's possible because of some of the things they've done. Back when I was in the Air Force, this would be in 1990, they were experimenting. I know that they were experimenting with thought-activated switches. There's a whole lot. This bridge of cybernetics between humans and machines is far more advanced than the average person thinks. But, and here's the but, there's no heart. And there's human evolution and the wisdom, the organic Gnostic path, the wisdom of the DNA, the wisdom of life itself is far more complex, has billions of years of trial and error, and it is far more advanced than any machine, any computer that exists or will exist for a long time. And I would rather have organic human beings who feel emotions, true emotions, and have hearts. I would rather have them following an internal path than to have everything programmed and dictated through artificial intelligence. So, especially in terms of morality. And how do I get from politicians and that to artificial intelligence? Well, creating morality and determining morality, it's because everything's becoming so complex. The belief is that only artificial intelligence, only computers can track it, can manipulate the data. Why not make it simple again? Why not make it a little more simple on a higher octave? That's all. Just some thoughts. And just the recognition, hey, we're at a very dangerous place. It's time for everybody in this country to take a look around and think about which kind of world they want to live in, because we're making that choice right now. I'm running out of time for the video. Thank you for listening. Consider being a patron supporter and have access to a growing number of videos that are not available otherwise. There's a list of them down below. Thank you. Have a good day.